The kingdom of Draelith was known for its glittering castles, marble courtyards, and golden harvests. But beyond its walls stretched the Blackwood Forest, a place the villagers spoke of only in hushed whispers. It was said that witches dwelled there, creatures of shadow and flame, cursed with beauty, doomed with power. King Alaric had ruled for 7 years. He was young, proud, and beloved by his people. Yet no joy touched his heart, for his nights were haunted by dreams. In them, he saw a woman with eyes like midnight and hair that shimmered like a raven's wing. She stood in the forest, whispering his name. When he woke, the longing did not fade. One evening, against the counsel of his knights, Alaric rode into Blackwood. The trees loomed tall, their branches tangled like claws, their silence suffocating. Torches sputtered in the damp air as his men begged him to turn back. And then he saw her. She stood at the edge of a clearing, draped in a gown of deep green, her pale skin glowing in the moonlight. Her eyes locked on his, those same midnight eyes from his dreams. The knights gasped and crossed themselves. "A witch," one whispered. But Alaric dismounted, his gaze never wavering. "Who are you?" he asked. Her voice was soft, like wind through leaves. "Some call me Seraphine. Others call me Curse." Alaric stepped closer despite the fear that gnawed at him. "And what do you call yourself?" Her lips curved into a sad smile. "Alone." That night changed everything. The king returned to his castle, but his heart remained in the forest. Each evening, he rode back, finding Seraphine waiting. At first, they only spoke. She told him of herbs that healed and stars that guided. He told her of courtly intrigues and the weight of a crown. But soon, words were not enough. Their hands brushed, their gazes lingered, and the space between them grew heavy with longing. Alaric knew the danger. To love a witch was to invite ruin. The church condemned them as heretics, the nobles feared their magic. But he could not turn away. One night, under the silver moon, he confessed it. "I do not care if you are a witch. My heart is yours." Seraphine trembled, tears glistening in her dark eyes. "Then you are a fool, my king. For my love is a curse that destroys all who hold it." Still, he pulled her close, his lips brushing hers. "Then let me be destroyed." And for the first time in centuries, the witch allowed herself to love. But the forest had ears. And secrets do not stay hidden for long. For many weeks, Alaric and Seraphine met in secret. What began as stolen moments in the forest soon deepened into nights of whispered promises, their love burning brighter than the fear of discovery. But love is never hidden for long. The king's council noticed the change. Alaric no longer sought the company of noblewomen. He ignored the offers of alliances with princesses from neighboring realms. And worse, he rode into the Blackwood each night and returned at dawn, his eyes brighter, his smile secret. Rumors spread like wildfire. The king consorts with a witch. He is bewitched, cursed by her spells. The throne itself is in danger. Soon, the whispers reached the ears of High Inquisitor Malric, the church's most zealous hand. A man of iron faith and colder heart, Malric had spent years hunting witches, burning them in the square as crowds cheered. He approached the king one morning, bowing low but with fire in his eyes. "My lord," he said, "there are whispers that you have grown fond of a woman in the forest." Alaric's jaw tightened. Whispers are the toys of idle tongues. But tongues can topple kingdoms, Malric replied smoothly. If this woman is what they claim, a witch, then she endangers not only you, but all of Draelith. Such creatures cannot love. They bind, they corrupt, they destroy. Alaric's hand gripped the hilt of his sword. I will hear no slander against her. Malric's eyes narrowed. Then you admit it. The king turned away, ending the conversation. But in his chest, unease took root. Not because he doubted Seraphine, but because he knew the Inquisitor would not stop until he found her. That night, Alaric warned her. They know, he whispered, pulling her into his arms. Malric suspects. You must flee, Seraphine. Leave this kingdom before they come for you. She shook her head, her dark hair brushing his cheek. Do you think I fear them? I have lived hunted for centuries. If they kill me, it will be no more than they have always sought. But you, she pressed her hand to his chest, where his heart beat strong. You are king. You cannot risk yourself for me. He caught her hand, holding it tightly. I would risk everything. Her eyes filled with sorrow. Then you risk too much. But fate moved faster than their love. One evening, as Alaric made his way to the forest, he found Seraphine already waiting, her face pale, her body trembling. They know, she whispered. The curse has awakened. Before he could speak, the ground trembled. Shadows rose around them, twisting into monstrous shapes with glowing eyes. The trees groaned, their roots tearing free as if the forest itself was alive. Alaric drew his sword, standing at her side. What is this sorcery? Seraphine's voice broke. The curse of my blood. Long ago, I was bound by the goddess of ashes. She swore that if I ever gave my heart to a mortal man, darkness would rise to destroy him. And now, her voice cracked. Now it comes for you. The creatures lunged. Alaric fought with the fury of a king defending crown and love alike, his blade cutting through shadow. But for every monster he struck down, two more rose. Seraphine's hands glowed with fire, her spells tearing the creatures apart. Yet her power faltered, drained by the curse that fed on her love. Go, she cried. Run before it consumes you. But Alaric grabbed her hand, pulling her against him. I will not leave you. Not now. Not ever. And in that moment, as their hearts beat as one, the curse shrieked louder, the forest itself howling. Their love had awakened something far greater than either of them had ever feared. The attack in the forest left scars upon the land. Trees stood charred where Seraphine's fire had blazed, and the soil still smoked with the ashes of shadow beasts. But the greater wound was the one left upon the kingdom itself. Whispers turned to certainty. The king is bewitched. He defends her, fights beside her. The curse will devour us all. High Inquisitor Malric seized the moment. Standing in the cathedral, his voice thundered like the toll of a death bell. People of Draelith, hear me. Our king has betrayed us. He lays with a witch, and her curse poisons our land. Shadows rise in the forest because of her unholy bond. If we do not act, the kingdom will fall into ruin. We must burn her, and with her, this sickness that stains the crown. The crowd roared in fear and fury, their torches lifted high. The witch hunt had begun. Alaric returned to the castle, his armor scorched, his heart heavy. He found his council gathered in secret, their faces pale. My king, one noble pleaded, cast her aside. Denounce her, and the people will forgive you. But if you do not, his voice trailed off. If I do not, Alaric's voice was like steel. The man swallowed hard. Then they will rise against you. Alaric's gaze swept across them, filled with fire. Let them rise. I will not abandon her. Silence fell, broken only by the hiss of the hearth. In the shadows, Malric smirked. Then you choose her over your crown. The king's hand went to his sword. I choose her over lies. If protecting the woman I love makes me unworthy of this crown, then perhaps it is not worth wearing. But Malric only bowed low, concealing the hatred in his eyes. He had what he needed, the king's defiance, the proof of his bewitchment. That night, Alaric rode to Seraphine once more. She stood waiting, her face pale with dread. They are coming for me, she whispered. He took her hands. Then we will face them together. Her tears shone like glass in the moonlight. Alaric, you do not understand. The curse does not only destroy those who hunt me. It destroys those who love me. Already you are marked. I feel it in the shadows. They cling to you. They feed on you. He pulled her close, his voice fierce. Let them come. Let the curse burn me, let the world despise me, I will not let them take you. Her heart ached, torn between joy and terror. For every word of devotion bound him tighter to her curse. And far away, in the cathedral's tower, Malric watched the forest burn with unnatural light. His lips curled into a smile sharp as a blade. If love is their sin, he murmured, then fire shall be their punishment. By dawn, the bells tolled across Draelith. The witch hunters rode, cloaked in crimson, torches in hand. The people followed, chanting, their fear twisted into hatred. They marched not for justice, but for blood. And at their head, eyes gleaming with holy fire, rode Malric. To the forest, he cried. To cleanse the land. In the heart of the Blackwood, Alaric and Seraphine stood hand in hand as the sound of drums and chants echoed closer. The king drew his sword. The witch raised her fire. And together, they prepared to defy a kingdom. The forest shook with the thunder of marching feet. Torches blazed like a river of fire as the witch hunters pushed into the Blackwood, their chants rising to the sky. Burn the witch. Burn the curse. At their head, Malric rode tall, his black cloak whipping behind him, his eyes gleaming with zeal. In his hands he carried the sacred spear of the Inquisition, said to pierce even the flesh of demons. But in the heart of the forest, the king and the witch waited. Alaric stood with his sword drawn, the crest of Draelith glinting in the firelight. Beside him, Seraphine's eyes burned with magic, her hands trembling with the weight of the curse. They will not stop, she whispered. Even if you defeat them, more will come. The curse feeds on their fear. It grows stronger. Alaric's hand closed over hers. Then let us give them something greater than fear. Let us give them truth. Before she could answer, the trees split open, and the hunters poured into the clearing like a tide of steel and fire. Malric's voice rang out. Behold! The king, fallen into sin. Bound by the witch's spell. Take him, kill her. The hunters surged forward. The battle was chaos. Alaric fought like a man possessed, his blade flashing silver, felling hunter after hunter. He was not just a king defending a crown, he was a man defending his heart. Seraphine's fire roared, tearing through the night. Bolts of flame struck the hunters, scattering them, but each spell drained her strength. The curse twisted around her like smoke, feeding on her love, on her desperation. The earth shook. Shadows erupted from the ground, monstrous forms born of the curse itself. The hunters screamed as beasts of darkness tore into their ranks. But for every enemy that fell, Malric pressed forward, his spear glowing with holy light. His eyes locked on Seraphine with burning hatred. "This ends tonight," he roared. He lunged, the spear aimed at her heart. Alaric threw himself between them. The spear struck his armor, piercing through, the force knocking him to his knees. "Alaric!" Seraphine screamed, catching him as he fell. Blood stained his lips, but his eyes still burned with love. Malric wrenched the spear free, raising it again. The witch dies, and the curse with her. But Seraphine's grief ignited like wildfire. Power surged through her, her curse breaking its chains. Flames erupted from her body, so fierce they blinded the hunters, so hot they turned Malric's spear to molten ash. Her voice was not human when she spoke. It was thunder, it was storm, it was the wrath of centuries. "You will not take him from me." The flames consumed everything, the hunters, the torches, the very trees. Malric screamed as fire swallowed him whole, his cries vanishing in the roar of destruction. And then, silence. The clearing was ash. The hunters were gone. The curse itself trembled, shattering in the face of Seraphine's unleashed power. But Alaric lay in her arms, his breaths shallow, his blood warm against her hands. "No," she whispered, cradling his face. "Stay with me. Please stay with me." His hand rose weakly, brushing her cheek. "Seraphine, if I must die, let it be like this. With you." Her tears fell onto his lips. "I will not let you go. I would burn the world before I let you go." And with a final, desperate cry, she pressed her lips to his. Magic surged. Light and shadow twined together. The curse screamed and then shattered, dissolving into the night. When the light faded, Seraphine collapsed, her strength gone. But Alaric opened his eyes. His wound was gone. His heart beat strong. The curse had broken. Yet the cost was great. The crown of Draelith lay in the ashes, its gold melted, its jewels scattered. The people had turned on their king, the hunters lay dead, and the forest was burned to ruin. Alaric pulled Seraphine close, whispering into her hair. "The crown is gone. But I have you. That is enough." And in the ruins of kingdom and curse alike, the king and the witch held each other, knowing their love had destroyed everything yet also saved it. The dawn after the battle was eerily quiet. The once mighty Blackwood lay in ruin, its towering trees reduced to smoking stumps, its shadows burned away. Where there had been chants and the clash of steel, only the whispers of wind remained. Alaric held Seraphine's hand as they walked through the ashes. She leaned against him, her strength not yet returned. Her eyes searched the horizon where the spires of Draelith gleamed faintly in the distance. "Your people will never forgive this," she whispered. He tightened his grip. "Then they are not my people. A crown is nothing compared to you." But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. Draelith was not only his throne, it was his responsibility. And he had burned it in his love for her. When they returned to the castle, silence fell. The nobles gathered, their faces pale with fear and rage. The melted crown was brought forth, twisted and blackened. Malric was gone, the hunters slain, yet the fear he had sown lived on. One noble spoke with trembling voice, "You destroyed the hunters. You burned the sacred forest. The people whisper that you are no king, but a warlock bound to his witch." Another added, if you stay, rebellion will rise. The church will send armies. Draelith will drown in blood. Alaric's jaw clenched. His hand slipped into Seraphine's, steadying himself. Then we will go. Gasps filled the hall. Go, a noble spat. Abandon the throne. The king's eyes burned with a strange calm. A throne is not worth the life of the woman I love. If ruling means betraying her, then I would rather wander crownless. The nobles fell silent. None dared to challenge him, not after what they had seen in the forest, the fire that had devoured Malric. And so, the king of Draelith laid down his crown. The years that followed became legend. They travelled from kingdom to kingdom, sometimes as wanderers, sometimes as healers. Seraphine's knowledge of herbs cured the sick, Alaric's sword defended the weak. Villages feared them at first, but in time, many grew to love them. In some tales, they say the goddess of ashes returned to curse them again, but love shielded them. In others, they say the two vanished into the mountains, building a hidden kingdom where no priest or noble could tear them apart. But in every telling, one truth endured. A king gave up his crown for a witch. And a witch gave up her solitude for a king. Together, they forged a life no curse could touch. One night, years later, as they sat by a quiet fire in the wilderness, Seraphine leaned her head against Alaric's shoulder. Do you ever regret it? She asked softly. Leaving everything for me. He pressed a kiss to her hair, his voice steady as the heartbeat she had once saved. Never. For kingdoms rise and fall. But love endures. And in the glow of the fire, in the quiet of their exile, the king who loved a witch smiled. Not as a ruler. Not as a hero. But as a man who had found the only crown worth wearing, her heart.